I'm Craig Pretzinger.
And I'm Jason Feldman.
We're just a couple of insurance dudes.
So passionate about telemarketing tele-funnels.
We've hacked the mechanics of top agents' tele-funnels.
You'll see behind the scenes of
how you can sell more,
save time,
reduce the cost of your leads,
and produce predictable results every single day.
Let's get it on. Woo! Hey, Jason.
Hey, Mr. Craig, another Teledudes day.
Teledudes. I got my shirt on.
Yes. So I loved our discussion about the meeting last week. Yeah. And we talked about going into the metrics. And it's funny because, on that peak performance challenge that we did, we started with the agent metrics, right? Because when it comes to doing transfers and stuff, it's not like somebody's walking in, they want to buy insurance, right? So
right.
They are very apprehensive at this point. So there's tactically, your agents have to be just on point, and it's a different skill.
It is. They have to be, it's an entirely different kind of way to talk to people, right? You've said this a million times. You're not talking to your mom. You're not talking to your family. You're not talking to your friends. You have to get the I'm going to be real nice out of the way, out of your mind, out of sight, out of mind.
Right. So an example of what Craig is just saying is I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It's like, oh, okay. I know. Here, Craig, I don't have enough time.
Oh, that's fine. It's only going to take a couple seconds. Do you still live at 5555 East 3rd Street?
You know what? I'm at work.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you could answer the phone. It's only going to take a couple more minutes. We have almost everything. Do you still live at 5555 East 1st Street?
Yep. And you wouldn't do that to your mom, like you were saying.
You'd say, oh, sorry, Mom.
Yeah. But that's the number one skill that you got to teach an agent, taking kind of internet lead, transfer, or anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, it probably goes back to the reason why a multitude of agents say that they suck, that internet leads suck, right? Because they're not easy.
I mean, I guess they do suck in a way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but what's the alternative?
There's none.
There's not.
So you have the control. This is the thing. They do suck. But you have the ability to make it not suck. If you don't suck, you can turn that lead into a good lead.
Which is the whole point of why we start the whole training on the agent side. Because if the agents aren't prepped, if they don't know what to do, it's not going to work.
100%.
When you first started, how many of the people that got transferred did you quote?
I mean, we were giving up a ton.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a mentor, an agent that I totally look up to. The number one piece of advice was just don't let them hang up on the phone. You either get hung up on or quote them. That's it.
Right. There should never be, okay, I'll call you back later. It's literally until they hang up on you. Because call me back later. Oh yeah, they want me to call them at 6. Okay. Ring, ring, ring. What happens at 6? Voicemail. They're not sitting by the phone waiting for, Patty from the Pretzinger agency to call them. Oh, why didn't Patty call? You never called.
Patty, I put that on my calendar. I was sitting by the phone and I was waiting for that.
I even made some popcorn. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to get that whole type of mindset out of their thinking. And the only way to do it is with that repetition practice, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it's holding those people accountable to that, and that's where the agent metrics come in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now to quote Ms. Laura Harris, you're holding the process accountable and not the people, right? You're managing the process, you're not managing the people. Then it's just objective.
Right. Yep, exactly. So you need to know things like, what kind of sales are expected. I guess everybody knows that, right? To some extent. but then work your way back. How many quotes do you need? Okay. How much talk time do you need? How many dials does it take to get to the quotes that you need to create the talk time?
And then right
and
in the middle of those, oh, that's what you're going to say, right? The contacts.
Yep. The contacts. How many contacts are you making from those leads?
Yeah. Which is more on the telemarketer side, but also important to look at, right? To validate lead quality.
Yep. But it's really just having those expectations, that process, the accountability, so that you're, like, to your point, managing the process and not the people,
Right.
and making sure that those activities end up to be the goal that you want. You basically work backwards, right? You work backwards from the sales that you need, and then back it into that, and then make sure that you divide it between the agents, and that the agents are doing the hold them accountable to the activity that they need to do in order to do that.
So how do you do that, Mr. Jason? That sounds hard.
Well, you got to keep every day. They have to be held accountable. Quotes, contacts, talk time, dials, sales. And it's something that you got to watch, and it's something that they have to track. We have, track sheets for all the agents that they have to write this stuff down daily. I like the idea. You can do a lot of this stuff digitally, but I like the idea of just writing it down. It makes it real. And I like the idea of, everybody, like, to your meetings that we talked about in the last one, bringing up their numbers and stuff like that in the meetings, bringing up their phone calls from the other day, really just these systems and processes to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah.
When you're constantly exposing all of what you're doing to everybody, it gets very hard to hide.
Mm-hmm. Did you know, I read this study one time, or somebody talked about this study, something, but it was about what we remember as humans. We really only remember the last couple days. Like, we have some vague memories of all the other stuff that's happened in our life, but like from a day-to-day doing activity basis, we only remember the last couple days. And so if we're not doing those things every day, we forget it. You know, how many times have you come up with, we're going to start doing it this way? And everybody's like, uh-huh. And in 2 months, that's totally, in a week, you're not doing it, and it never happened. And the only way to do is really get it started. And like you said, you got to keep practicing that thing. It's like working out. You can't work out one time and then you have big biceps next month, right? You've got to do it every single day.
Yep.
I mean, you could work out one time and you have big biceps.
Oh yeah, I'm ripped. I'm huge. No, but I love, like you were talking about, the consistency of the meetings, and now the consistency of those agents, the agent metrics. And here's fun. This is one thing that Craig and I always talk about too, because it's crazy. So when you're doing this kind of volume, right? The higher volume you get on quoting, think about it. An agent's quoting all day, and it's so easy to let some of this stuff slide. Are you making sure that you're presenting value every time? Are you making sure that you're overcoming objections every time? Are you connecting? Think about that. Even on and the connecting is the most important part, right? How easy is it to get into a mode? If you're quoting 10 houses a day, how easy is it to let a couple of them, maybe even just one, start sliding to where you're just quoting and you're not connecting? You don't know anything about them. You're just giving them a quote, hopefully that they like it.
Yeah.
Right. So like in that kind of volume, you got to empathize with their situation. In that kind of volume, it's incredibly easy to start letting some of the key things slide.
And then to the point of, you only remember the last couple days, if you start letting them slide, it's slip, slip, slip. And all of a sudden you're consistent at doing it the wrong way. And then you get really good at doing it the wrong way. And a really good way from the metrics to check is, okay, so they did 10 quoted households yesterday, but they were on the phone for an hour and a half. There's something wrong, right? Like that's not long enough on the phone to get to a result. These should be like 20, 25-minute calls. And, if it's a good one, some of them, they're going to, it's going to end a little bit quicker, but 10 quoted households, you should be looking at, 3 to 4 hours.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
And that's another great point, is that make sure those quotes are over 15 minutes, at least 15.
yeah.
You know, if it's slightly under, it can be okay. But dude, how can you connect with somebody and ask them all kinds of questions within 8 to 10 minutes? If you see that happening, a ton of quotes and little talk time, you guaranteed they're not connecting. They're never going to remember, to your point of like, you barely remember anything the last few days, right? If you do a quick quote and you don't connect, no one's ever going to remember that. They're going to go on with their day. They're going to go home to their wife. And when they talk about the coverage or whatever, they're going to talk to them for 2 seconds. And then, oh yeah, I talked to this guy today, blah, blah, blah. Like there's no way it's going to be on their mind. And when you call back, you literally have nothing to call back for except that quote. And nobody cares about the quote.
No. When they say they're going to talk to their spouse, if you're not overcoming that objection, they're not talking to their spouse about the quote. Like they didn't hop in bed and the last thing they talked about before the pillow hit the bed or their head hit the pillow was, hey, so I got this quote today from Patty and it was really awesome. Let me go over it with you. Right? Like that didn't happen. That never is going to happen.
You have a Patty?
I do. I used to have 2.
Really?
Yeah, she's great.
I don't hear that name often.
Patricia, but Patty.
Yeah. Interesting. That part of this conversation is the most valuable, by the way.
Yeah. Remember that. You need a Patty on your team. So that's one of the things you can diagnose, right? What else can you diagnose? You can diagnose when the sales are low, but the quotes are high, which is kind of the same thing. But this is a closing problem, right? They're not closing. And to what we did the other day, or what we'll do tomorrow, or the next one of these, which is the hot seats, right? The hot seats are a great way to help with that because you're going to really focus a lot on that overcoming objections. And we'll get into that.
Yep. Hot seats are fantastic. I'm glad we'll do a whole talk on the hot seats because it's so valuable. It's so valuable, and it's not something that anybody wants to do at first, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants. The agent usually doesn't want to do it at first. And then the sales agents. So I guess the boss doesn't want to do it. And then the agents don't really want to do it either because it seems uncomfortable. Oh, I don't want to put them under the fire, but it's great. I mean, all this. Yeah.
Well, we get super granular in the Peak Performance Challenge for the people that have the teledudes. Like we have everything, all the little forms, how to run it. It's the whole thing.
The docs and everything. Yeah. So it's basically done for you. I love that. I love that.
Talk time or sales quotes, talk time are all low, but dials are high. What's going on there?
They're having a problem with that first connection, right?
Yeah.
It's that the first thing that we started talking about today, assuming that quote. Did you know that's the first thing we get somebody in the agency that for a sales position, the first thing that they're going to do on day one is learn that skill like that. They cannot move on until they learn that skill. And if they can't learn it, then it's not the job for them.
Right. Because if you do it this way, hey, ring, ring, ring. Hey, Jason. So you want a quote?
No, I'm busy.
Right. You'd never ask ever.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that and they want to, right? It goes back to, this is how we're trained to talk, right? We're trained to be nice and not be assumptive because it's a little pushy, but you have to push hard on the front end.
And a lot of people do say that, right? A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be pushy or something, but then don't be sales.
Yeah. Go work.
And it's not pushy. Think about this. How unempathetic is it? Who do you value your time, Craig?
Yes.
Do you think your time is worth anything?
Yes.
Do you think that other people's time is worth something to them?
Yes.
Okay. So in a transaction, like if somebody needs to buy insurance or something, do you think it's a good use of time to get 10 1-hour quotes or 10 30-minute quotes and then not make a decision?
No.
Is that a good
use
of time?
It's a waste of time.
No. A waste of time. So if you know that you're truly going to help them, that you're truly going to give them more coverage, that you're going to help someone, isn't it empathetic to their needs by like helping them make a decision, because people have a hard time making decisions. I have a hard time making decisions sometimes. I like it when people help me make those decisions.
Yeah. They're trained naturally to put their hand out and say, no, no, no. But at the end of the day, they do want help with that decision. This is the whole, like all of the excuses that they get, aside from I have no money. And if that's true, then, that's a true objection that you can't really overcome. I mean, there's some techniques that we have, but all the other ones are just, I'm afraid to make the decision. Like that's all it is, right? I'm afraid to make the decision, and you have to find out why they're afraid to make the decision.
And even if they say money, I mean, everybody's buying Starbucks or something stupid out there, right? Yeah. So it's like you need to dig deeper. And that's what we call in the office peeling the onion. Never take the onion. Like you got to peel it back, really find what those things are. We'll get more into all this. This is more of the hot seat conversation, but it goes back to the agent metrics, right? Making sure that every single day that they're posting those numbers on that stuff, holding them accountable so they don't slip back into like what you were just saying is we're trained to naturally not be assumptive. Yeah. So we're trained. So it's easy for us to slip back into any kind of pattern if we don't hold ourselves to a lot of different metrics that we know if they're doing all these metrics, everything's going to be working. That's why the metrics thing is so important.
Yep. 100%.
And nobody's natural at it. And there's not one person on the planet that's going to hold themselves 100% to these metrics. You're going to give it to them and it's just going to work out forever. Never. Right. That's never going to happen. So
it's your most important job as the agent is to manage this, right? To track and measure.
Or your sales manager.
Right. Ultimately. Eventually your sales
manager. Then hold them accountable to this too.
Right. Right. 100%.
Or whoever. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's a teledudes talk.
Teletalk. That was a teletalk.
That was a teletalk.
If anybody wants to know more about the teledudes and the services that we provide, go to live.teledudes.com. Again, that's live.teledudes.com. And I bet you're looking for the text number, which is 520-219-22 or 214-2219. Say that again, Mr. Craig.
That is 520-224-2219. That is not right. It's 520-214-2219. We finally got it right. 520-214-2219. You can text Mr. Jason or Mr. Craig. That's me. And we will shoot you back a message. We got a whole bunch of people on here that we send little happy little duties every once in a while.
Yep. Live.teledudes.com will take you to a live webinar, or you can just go to teledudes.com to learn more info.
Ooh, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
On the flippity flip.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to do write 100,000 in premium, off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes. It's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's
Okay.
520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.